Zoom this morning. And Karen Heine is hosting today. And if you would, please make sure that you keep yourself muted during the service so that we don't have any background noise on the recording. So my name is Brenda Heldoorn. I'm a licensed practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Tahoe-Truckee. And it is my pleasure to welcome you here this morning, joining us virtually on Zoom, as we are all staying warm and cozy and safe in our own homes. So whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. We know that there are many paths to God, and we recognize that all these paths end in oneness and in love. We are grateful that each of you is this morning. So we begin our service by sharing our receptivity statement. And while you are still muted, if you would read the statement along with me. I am here by divine appointment. Something I am about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. So this morning, our musician is our very own Colleen Akiko. And she has an opening song this morning, and I know that she would like to introduce it for us.
Thank you so much. This is an opportunity to extend that lovely meditation time that we had just before service. And it's called Be Still. It emerged when I was backpacking years and years ago, and woke up next to a high mountain lake, and I was just overwhelmed with the wondrousness of the beauty that was present all around me. And this song helps me to recall that moment and to just realize how blessed it is to just be still. And sometimes in that stillness, there might be a little ripple that comes up. And that's okay. You know, we continue the stillness, and I invite you during the song to experience your own delicious stillness. Thank you.
Here in the stillness, I will find my peace. As I behold the light in me, Spirit calls me, come aside and rest. And now I listen as I breathe. Be still, be still, be still, and know that I am God. Peace, be still, be still, and know that I am. Here in the stillness, I have found my peace. I see the sacred light in me. The Spirit holds me, warms away my fear. Now I'm rejoicing as I breathe. Be still. Be still. Be still. And know that I am God. Peace. Be still. Be still. And know that I am. In a raging storm, in a sleepless night, when the pain goes on with no end in sight, I am. I am. I am. I am here. I am now. I am deep inside. I am all around. Be still. Be still. And know that I am. Here in the stillness, Spirit calls me. Here in the stillness, Spirit holds me. Be still. Be still. Be still.
Oh my goodness, Colleen. That is just beautiful. Thank you, and perfect. And I'm just so grateful for this amazing community and all of the talent and the gifts of heart and that beautiful sacred service that's offered to our community. And thank you so much for that, Colleen. And speaking of sacred service to our community, our practitioner today is Carol Dalbon. And Carol is one of the founding members of our community, involved in this family for more than 30 years now. So Colleen is, Carol is going to bless us with an opening prayer and also a sacred reading. Good morning, Carol.
Thank you, Brenda. And Colleen, I love that song. It was so pretty. Easy to meditate to, I would say. So I chose a reading from a book called How to Use the Science of Mind, which I'm sure a lot of you have. And this book was Reverend Sandy's, and it's been marked up and with tattered pages and cover and everything else. So it's a treasure. And I've chosen to read from the chapter called The Practitioner Speaks with Authority. And the practitioner means anybody who practices the science of mind, not necessarily a licensed prayer practitioner. I start out on page 74. Excuse me. The spiritual mind practitioner does not think of himself as a healer any more than a mathematician thinks of himself as the principle of mathematics. There is but one healing agency, which is life, spirit, or truth. There is but one life principle, which is the law of mind in action, but one spirit, which is God in everything. The final law of life is a law of good. There is but one ultimate impulsion in the universe. This impulsion is love. This love is more than an emotional sentiment, although it must include all such emotional sentiments. It is the pure essence of divine givingness. There is something in the universe which forever gives itself to its creation, forever offers itself, not as a sacrifice, but as an impartation of its essence into everything. The practitioner must sense this divine givingness, this divine love, as the manifestation of spirit through everything. He must sense the harmony of the divine life, which, should we permit it, could give such power to our thought that it would become irresistible as law, not though through will or concentration, but by attention and willingness. We are accustomed to thinking that the word of God is the law of God. We are not so used to thinking of our own word as the activity of this universal presence and law. We think of ourselves as separated from it rather than one with it. Therefore, we feel that we have to reach out toward it, not realizing that it is not afar, but within. We go in search of that which we already possess, but are not using. The practitioner must discover the great reality, capital R, within himself. It is his consciousness of this presence which gives power to the word. The principle he is using is the law of mind in action. The method for using it is conscious thought. It is the practitioner's business to combine his inward awareness with the conscious use of the principle for definite purposes, for himself, for others, and for any condition which needs changing. Anyone who practices this will find proof of its reality. Thus alone can he know that he is dealing with certainty, with law, with love, and with life. We should have a spirit of adventure in this, the wonder of it, the continual discovery, the steady unfoldment, the joyful anticipation of more and better, the silent recognition of our partnership with the invisible. We should have a deep sense of calm and peace and abiding faith and trust in the universe. This is the essence of faith, the beauty of religion. So now, listening to these words, I can't help but be enthused and inspired, for we have that peace within us here at our center. And when we touched base with everybody here and we listen to the words spoken and the music sung, we can not help but be joyful and enthusiastic and loving and looking for all the opportunities that we have coming our way when we open up to it and know that it lives through us, not out there, but through us. So we can enjoy our lives even more and be a better contribution to our communities, to our center, to our families. I'm grateful for all of this knowing and more as we listen with mindfulness to Reverend Barb speaking and Colleen singing and Brenda talking. So I am so grateful for this time together and relieving Reverend Pam so she can heal her wrist surgery and get better and better so she can be with us once again. I let this go knowing it is the truth for all of us. And so it is.
And so it is.
And
Thank you, Carol.
And then
Yes,
Colleen,
so,
or not.
yes. Welcome, Colleen, back.
Colleen.
Thank you. I love that. Thank you, Carol. I love listening to you talk. Just have such a sweet wisdom. Thank you. This next song is called Beholder, and it dovetails with what Spirit prompted Carol to share with us about that reality within us. And this month, the theme is living everyday wonder. When we think of being in wonder, we think of beholding something beautiful like a sunset, or Nancy's grandbaby smiling up at her, or something just beyond words, beautiful and amazing. And we might easily miss beholding that part of us within us that is always beholding that unspeakable beauty and glory that is everywhere present. I wanted to actually read to you the lyrics of, I think it's the third little verse in this song. And it's about beholding the wonder around us when you are walking in darkness. You're walking through the valley of the shadow of death, which we are. Many of us are right now. You know, Chris and I know several people who are down with COVID, and you know, friends who have lost their partner to COVID. So I mean, that's just one aspect of our current time, and yet part of us is beholding, you know, is unchangeable and perfect and whole, and that is the essence of who we are. And to allow that part of us to kind of be tapped on the shoulder and remind us that we can be a beholder at all times in all circumstances. So this verse, I think it's after the first chorus, says, "Behold the beholder, naked as the morning, awake in the nightmare, shielded in glory, holding the door for me to move forward into the warming, bright as the dawning." So thank you for letting me share this with you.
Behold the beholder, bright as the dawning, wise as a newborn, clear and adoring, calling me closer, beckoning me to be a beholder. I can be a beholder, to find where the spark is, so I can feel the glory, shining in darkness, like sunlight before me. Heaven concurs, my spirit soars when I'm a beholder. I'm a beholder. Behold, 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 the beholder. Behold, behold, the beholder. I am. Behold the beholder, naked as the morning, awake in the nightmare, shielded in glory, holding the door for me to move forward into the warming, as bright as the dawning. Behold, behold, am. Behold, behold, the beholder. Behold, behold, the beholder. I am the beholder. I am.
Thank you once again, Colleen. Just beautiful. So as most of us are aware, Reverend Pam is recovering from a surgery that she had on her wrist this past week, that she injured on the day of our, that we were to have our candlelight service just before Christmas. And so, you know, we had a monster snowstorm, and you know, she had an encounter with the ice and the pavement. And so she is in the process now of healing and regaining the full use of her wrist. And I know that in this process, her beloved husband, Michael, who's also a practitioner at our center, is there supporting her both physically and spiritually with endless thoughts of wholeness and wellness and peace and well-being, which we all send to Reverend Pam from our center and our community. And so today we are blessed with having a guest speaker as Reverend Barb Walley. And Barb has a fascinating story and that I'd like to share with you. So she grew up in Long Beach, California, and went to Cal State Long Beach and studied fine art and interior design. She was an interior designer for several years in Bakersfield and Los Angeles while her ex-husband was completing his residency. When they moved to Los Angeles, she was hired into the entertainment industry and worked on several movies, TV shows, and various large productions. She worked in that industry for about 10 years. She was very attracted to the New Thought teachings and felt the calling to go into ministry. After successfully completing the boards, she was asked to come to Ohio, and she was the minister at the Toledo Center for Spiritual Living for over 15 years. At the end of that time, she had been practicing Kira Yoga, and when she left the Center for Spiritual Living in Toledo in 2012, she moved back to California to Ananda, and she's lived there ever since. And so it is my great pleasure to welcome Reverend Barb to our community. And we're so grateful that she is helping to support Reverend Pam and sharing her message for us this morning. So let's welcome Reverend Barb.
Thank you. I'm really grateful to be with you all. It feels like I've come home because I just kind of feel so connected to Carol and so many of you. I just feel like, oh, I just feel so at one with all of you. It's so great. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being with us today. It is a joy to celebrate this consciousness together. My topic is Wonder, Wonder Everywhere. So let's open our hearts and our minds to the wonders we can discover this year. And let's include the whole world in this expansive consciousness. There truly is a great power in the word. And Dr. Holmes tells us that when we are praying or treating, which is our form of affirmative prayer, we need to be direct and definite in our mental work. And we are certainly living in times when we need that consciousness, more and more of this divine consciousness that New Thought is all about. Dr. Holmes called our attention to the fact that we're dealing with intelligence. And even if this might seem obvious, we still need to work at using it intelligently, because there really is no limit to the power of your mind. There's no limit in knowing our oneness that opens the doors to right action, understanding, efficacy. It opens the doors to having a new idea come to birth. And we're on the doorstep of that. Dr. Holmes mentioned it many times, and Paramahansa Yogananda spoke deeply about the emergence of a new consciousness. And there will be challenging times, and we certainly are in that. But we want to learn to trust that there is a great vision that is pulling us into a greater awareness of the love of God and the greater awareness of the power that is within us, all around us, and working through us. So we need to breathe that into our heart. For just a second, take a deep breath and hold your hands on your heart if you choose to. And just take that in, that there's a great power for good in this universe, and we're able to use it. In fact, it's our divine design to use that. So we're just knowing that this healing that Dr. Holmes was talking about and Master was talking about, Paramahansa Yogananda, I call him Master, so if I say that, I'm talking about Paramahansa Yogananda, the great spiritual leader throughout many, many years. I'm very blessed to have both of them as my spiritual guides. And you do too. We have everything available to us. There's great wisdom on the planet. There isn't only one path. The only path is all that God is. And you have your choice to see what works best for you. Dr. Holmes said in The Science of Mind on healing, willpower has nothing to do with mental healing. It would imply that the practitioner exercises a personal thought force over the patient. That's not what we do. This is a false suggestion. It's almost something in a form of hypnotism. That's not what we do. We, knowing our oneness with God and the creative medium, the law, our spiritual mind treatments are free from any and all thoughts of control. We are simply the vehicle for the divine mind to express ourselves in us, through us, and as us. And you can do it. Everyone can do it. It's a matter of getting in attunement with the radiant consciousness of divine mind. So we make an inner commitment to nourishing a healthy perspective that takes a clear and conscious intention to open our hearts to a power much greater than ourselves, but it includes us. So it takes a deliberate attunement and personally, I know I must surrender whatever it is that might be distracting me. If I get caught up in distraction, then I'm letting something sidetrack me from divine love and seeing and feeling the potential that is within me that emerges through me when I get out of the way of the divine circuits. And I imagine you never do that. I'm probably the only one who does something like that, right? No, the truth is we all do it. And at times I'm amazed at how precious and uniquely perfect the compassionate heart of spirit can be. And in those moments when I might have felt crabby or short-sighted only a few moments before, I will just retreat and move my feet and practice using the wisdom and the tools of what you've heard many times: ask, seek, knock. I'm asking, I'm seeking, and I'm knocking, and I'm putting this on the plate of divine consciousness. It never fails. All prayer works. And I know that it's a form of conscious and deliberate and productive thinking. And recently, my heart was always finding a way, a path to realizing that God is with me, in me, and all around me, directing me to the infinite power that is within each one of us. I was amazed at the synchronicities that we all can plug into. I stopped for just a moment while I was writing this talk, and I decided to go get a cup of yogi tea. And the kid in me really enjoyed opening the bag and said, well, what does this say today? And this is what it said. And it was so perfect because there were so many things going on in the news, and I love to be directed by spirit. And it said, be fearless, know that all will be provided at the right time. So if there's anything you're going through right now that you're having difficulty handling difficultly, or you're having struggles with, be fearless. Know that all will be provided at the right time. I love how life has a way of boosting our energy. That Jesus just told us to ask, to seek, and to knock. I make a habit of that. I just really, if I see myself feeling scrambled or disoriented, I ask. And ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be open to you. It doesn't say maybe. It says it will be. So trust those principles. Look into that. I did a study of that. It's become part of me. And I really know that you can do it too, because all of us can. We've been created by the same source. So what a joy and potential good is waiting for you. What joy is handing itself to you through the difficulties and the shadows that you've been experiencing or struggling with right now. Because recently, it can hook so many of our attentions, and we have to, I've just noticed it, the energy in my friends and people, they're tired of this process. I don't blame you. I feel the same way, but we're having to deal with it still. And it's, what it's happening at the moment, it's not going to last forever. We just keep turning it over to a power greater than ourselves. A couple of days ago, I received what I felt was a perfect quote for today's talk that I was preparing. And it was written as part of a beautiful message from Jyotish from Ananda's spiritual group. And he's Ananda's spiritual leader. And it said, God is always waiting for us to make an offering. Each time we sit to meditate, the illumined mind of Christ consciousness at the spiritual eye calls us, asking us to transmute the ego into light. It's our ego that gets hooked. It's our ego that gets distracted. It's our ego that gets caught up in spiritual knots and distractions. If we're caught up in distractions like the news, the internet, with stories that drain our energy, we're spending our vital substance that can support our joy. And instead, we find ourselves enmeshed and caught up in the replays of news we all know about. They've played endlessly, and all they're supporting is the negativity that we need to let go of. We want healthy energy. We want to stop watching it over and over again. It can only cause depression. and hopelessness and drain your energy. I'm not saying don't be informed. I'm saying don't let it be a compulsion. These disturbances drain us over and over again. And I feel that many of us can be so hooked to our computer and the news that I've come to realize it is exhausting my energy and my joy. So I hope you'll pause a little bit and stop that process that you keep repeating, and let's hold ourselves in our world from a much higher consciousness. I'm stepping it up this year. Join me in stepping it up this year. I want to keep lifting my vision to sporting a world that works for everyone. And I'm going to do my very best to take a greater intention into form and do my best to see it taking action and supporting others in that journey. So I know you can do it. And one of the wonderful messages from Pam, Reverend Pam, was orienting ourselves to wonder, to the wonder of divine. And I'm going to read that for you. I've modified it a little bit, but I'm sure you won't mind. The universe has so many ways to awaken us to wonder. We can find so many beautiful things like nature that are all around us. They can inspire us. We can learn to see the powerful divine inspirations through a limitless palette of expressions. I love that. I paint. I love to see the enormous color in nature. Nature is generous, and she shares her beauty and love of the beautiful earth people and so much more. It is found everywhere. God's living spirit is all around us with so many messages expressed in nature. So many of us are blessed to live in the midst of California, where nature is so expressive, unique, and colorful. I love the waterfalls close by and the lakes and the gorgeous skies. It helps us appreciate the wonder of life and the magnificence of the divine and the limitless expressions of spirit. The marvel of life in Tahoe, one of my most favorite places, and the lovely places in California, is so inspiring. It inspires me every single day, and especially in those times when I am conscious of the magnificence around me. God's love is everywhere in so many multicolored and flamboyant expressions. Nature is rich with love and vibrancy, glorious and truly wonder-filled. Wonder, the next point is wonder is a wellspring of love. And this was written by Valerie Carr. When we orient ourselves to wonder, then it becomes possible to wonder not only about ourselves and our world, but about other people and theirs as well. We begin to sense that there is a vast and complex, they are as vast and complex as we are. When we choose to wonder about people we don't know, we begin to expand a circle of those we see as part of us that we don't know yet. It draws us ever closer to empathy and compassion. And the last idea that Reverend Pam was going to share is wonder reveals oneness. Wonder reveals our oneness, our interconnectedness, our independence, interdependence. Everything began as a divine idea, and form is an expression of consciousness. Notice the interconnectedness of it all, the creativity, the beauty, the perfection. It is evident in the ancient Sanskrit truth, Tat Twam Asi, I am that. The African philosophy, Ubuntu, says, I am because you are. So I'd like to close with a very short meditation. So if you just join me for a moment and sit still and take a gentle and deep breath. And we know that let's place all of our concerns about ourselves and our world and our preoccupations and put it on an imaginary piece of paper and placing it into the eternal flames of spirit, knowing we are releasing all our worries and our fears and putting them into the sacred fire of divine love. So take a deep breath with me and close your eyes. And if you want to, put your hands on your heart and give any and all thoughts or worries over to spirit. And please join me for a moment in the silence, realizing there is only one expansive and loving source in whom we live, move, and have our being. Spirit knows what they are for you. We only need to give them up. So take a deep breath and hold that idea for just a moment. I hope that you've been able to find some joy and peace in this time together, that somewhere in the message you were able to feel the presence of God and the love of God and the incredible presence of joy. So we know, beloved God, that you are guiding and directing our path. And we are deeply grateful for the many ways you support us and expand divine consciousness throughout our planet. Guide us into a new day, Lord. I know that you are with us all. Help us to serve more effectively. Help us to always have the resources that we need. Bless the Center for Spiritual Living, Tahoe, and with the resources she needs, and all of the community for all that they need and desire the good for all of us on this planet. We are deeply grateful. We thank you, thank you, thank you for loving us enough to guide us each day. And so it is. Amen. 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 Well, my dear, I turn it back over to you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Reverend Barb. And so, right, so we will welcome back Colleen to introduce her next song.
Well, this next one is a sing-along, and I think you will all recognize it pretty quick. And, whoever your favorite artist is on this song, just pretend you're him or her and let her rip. Yes, yeah, muted. And thank you so much, Reverend Barb. I just love your wholehearted way of bringing forth what Spirit has gifted you to share with us. Thank you.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright, blessed day and the dark, sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. Babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn so much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. Babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn so much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, oh, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, oh, what a wonderful world.
Thank you, Colleen, once again. Oh my goodness. So beautiful and such a perfect wrap up to this whole theme of wonder, of participating in the awe all around us. Thank you, Colleen. So now is the time for us to practice the principle of prosperity. This is a sacred principle that each of us practices in our own way, but we come together as a community to serve and to support not only our own small collective, but also our community at large. And so I would like you to share with me our prosperity affirmation. I think it's there somewhere. I might be out of order, Karen. There we go. So staying muted, but just read along with me. I gratefully and joyfully share my offering, which flows from God, my infinite source. My gift blesses this center and all who are guided, healed, and empowered by its activities. All I share with life returns to me, blessed and multiplied. And so it is. And there are many ways to share your gifts with our center, knowing that we are virtual at this point in time. You can go to the website, or you and share your gifts via PayPal, and or you can just simply mail a check to the center, and we gratefully accept all of these blessings. Okay, and I believe that Colleen has a song for us.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I am one in the spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God. I am thankful, so grateful. I am grateful, so thankful. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God.
Thank you once again, Colleen. So beautiful. So just to mention, the Board of Trustees will be, as soon as I'm back from vacation, the Board of Trustees will be coming together to begin preparing our budget for 2022. And if you have not yet returned your pledge card, it would be very helpful if you would, so that we know the framework within how we are preparing our budget for all of the programs and all of the things that bless our center that will be coming forth for the rest of the year. So if you don't have your pledge card, you lost it, misplaced it, whatever, what have you, you can even send an email to Reverend Pam with just a verbal, just an acknowledgement, so that we have something to work with for our budgeting process. So thank you very much in advance for doing that. And everyone who has returned their pledge cards so far, thank you most especially. So I believe that we have some announcements, and Karen, if you have slides for announcements. Yes, you can invite your friends and family to watch the Sunday Talks. And if they're not able to join us live on Zoom, they will be on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. So you can find the links to the recordings on the website, Facebook, and Instagram. So our new website is, man, it's really amazing. If you haven't been there yet, I encourage you to check it out at www.tahoecsl.org. Okay, so next Sunday, the 16th of January, Reverend Pam will be back with us with the topic Embrace the Now. And our musician will be Angelica Schaefer, and the practitioner is Michael Bradman. The Center for Spiritual Living Spiritual Convention will be happening next week, the 18th through the 21st. I believe that you can still register to attend virtually, and the information is there. And then our ongoing, I believe all of our services this month in January will be on Zoom. So you will just make sure that you're getting the constant contact in your email and joining us that way. Tai Chi continues on Thursdays at 3:30 p.m. led by Chris Worcester. And Our meditations are on Thursdays at 4:30 energization, and 5 p.m. is the actual meditation led by our very own Penny Scholler. And then A Course of Love continues on Fridays at 6:30 p.m. And so now we want to acknowledge our children, and they may not be with us on Zoom at this moment in time, but we still want to acknowledge their presence and send them our blessing. So if you'll join me in reading, we see you, we hear you, we love you. You are a gift from God. And so it is. And so now join me in our benediction, our affirmation. I see awe-inspiring beauty everywhere I look. Thank you, Karen.